I'm all right. Oh, no. Okay, I think I got it. I got it. All right, I got to let everybody in.
You've got it?
I'm in.
2 people entered the waiting room.
Now I got to figure out how to let everybody in. I'm not getting a message to people. Are you in the waiting room?
I was, but now I'm admitting people.
It says.
Can you just go to, I've got them here, I'm pretty certain. April Stein,
Yeah, I'm here.
Howard Spetner.
You should be able to.
Howard, unmute yourself. And someone S. Vivier.
So wait a second, you're all in?
While you were trying to
Yeah,
get
we are.
into Zoom, I got in. I'm hosting the meeting.
You're hosting the meeting.
Apparently. Howard, you can hear me, right? And April can
Yeah,
hear
I
me?
can. Yeah.
You can see them all on the screen.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Is that you, George?
I got to get out of what I'm doing.
Is there someone asked on mute? Susan S. Vivier. Is there someone named S. Vivier who wants to get in?
That wouldn't be me.
Yeah. I'm asking her to, or I say her.
Yeah, who is that person? Oy.
I could make you the host when you get in.
It doesn't matter.
George?
Who's the host. Once I get in, it doesn't matter. I just need to get in, and it's not letting me in. And the thing is, I've tried so many times, it keeps messing up my computer, and I gotta.
Ah.
All right, here we go. I don't understand why this isn't working. I gotta reboot my PC.
Can you just can you go to Shutesbury.org on your phone and then go to meetings?
I'm rebooting my PC. This should work now because I've been trying to log in and start the host.
How can we hear you if you're not logged in?
I don't know what I did. Start the meeting without me.
No, you can listen.
Well, you're in.
You can probably hear everything,
Yeah,
George.
that's true.
You're in. You're in the meeting.
Start the meeting.
Okay. And where's David?
David's right here. I think I need a little more volume, though. I thought I had the volume up to a nice level, but I need a little more. So hold on for just a minute.
Okay. And if David could move to his right. So yes, thank you. Okay.
Okay. Let me see if I can get the.
Okay.
I mean, I'm on my work computer, and it's hard for me to get documents up, but I will find them.
Okay, hard.
Yeah, Howard,
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
can you
Okay, what
speak a
about?
little louder because maybe I can hear. Maybe I can.
That's not what I want to do. Wait a minute.
All right, you need to let me in, Leslie.
Okay,
Did you
George.
see a message that says let George in? Somebody's waiting.
No.
Because it says host has joined. We've let them know you're here.
Okay. Host tools. Up on the right it has who's in. So let me go to host tools. Allow participants.
Now it's connecting. Now it's something's going on my PC.
Try.
Oh, God.
If you have your phone right there, George, the way I use
We'll keep talking.
it,
We can start the meeting. I'll let you. It was there. It was saying waiting for the host. Now it's doing something. It says it's connecting. I don't know what it's doing.
okay. Howard, you can start the meeting.
Okay. So just to be, okay. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Attending is board member April Stein, Board member George Arvanitis is at this time attending only by audio, not by video. Chairman Howard Spetner is here. Assessors Clerk Leslie Bracebridge and Administrative Assessor David Burgess. The first order of business is to review and approve the minutes from our February 12th meeting and the April 4th meeting that we had that related specifically to hiring a new assessor. Has everybody had a chance to review both sets of minutes?
Yep.
Okay. George, you had a chance? George, can you hear me?
He said yes.
Okay. I move that we approve those minutes.
I'll second.
Okay, I vote aye.
Arvanites, aye.
And Stein, aye.
Okay, the motion
That was for
passes.
both sets then, huh?
Yes, it was.
Okay, thank you.
The next item on the agenda is old business updates from meeting minutes review. Leslie, what did you have in mind?
I just didn't, I guess I wanted to fill people in a little bit about the actions following the April 3rd meeting where we were discussing how to staff the assessor's office.
Okay.
And I guess the only solid information we have right now is that the Irving assessor who's retiring is not interested. The Pelham assessor had not gotten back to our town administrator as of Monday, and I tried to connect with her today about that, but she was tied up with other stuff that she had to do. And David has told me that we need her to contact our RG to get a definitive answer about them. And Howard, did you contact Roy or did you decide to wait for this meeting?
I have not yet contacted Roy. I have a question. I thought that RRG, that David had talked to RRG and that RRG had said that they were stretched too thin to take on another town. Is that true?
Okay, that's what they're discussing, but they have not had a formal approach. It was just, this was just me and my boss. A formal approach might
Okay.
get something different.
And who knows, maybe they'll hire someone between now and then. So we're going to keep every stone going. And I wanted to know from every stone going, you know what I mean? I wanted to hear
Yes,
from
I know.
April when the personnel board would be doing the job description.
Yeah, I have tried to get the board together earlier. We have a meeting a week from tomorrow. So,
Okay,
and
so
I tried,
that's
yeah,
April 24th.
right. And where was it? Wait a minute, where is it? I'm running out of, this was last done of May of 2019. So I mean, we'll certainly review it, but I can't imagine it's going to be hugely different.
I had a couple of suggestions and I don't know, but that we should, I would rather that we just talked about right now while David's here. They weren't major.
Yes.
And I would love to offer to put documents up on the screen like George would have been able to do easily, but it's just too much for me right now. And I think I can just as easily describe my comments.
Okay, and I'll take some notes while you're talking.
Okay. So basically, on the first bullet, it says update property records from deeds, and typically the clerk has been doing this.
Okay.
That's the very first bullet. Then I wanted to talk.
I thought
Go
that
ahead.
David did that. I thought that when information came in,
David does
regarding deeds.
everything else. Yes.
I don't know the deeds. I analyze the ones at the end of the year.
David
So when-
values property and puts in values. Entering the deeds just means when someone sells a property, a deed is recorded at the Franklin Registry of Deeds that says who sold, who bought, and the amount that they paid. That information is all wrote and the clerk does it. Anything that requires interpretation of values or any of the, what did you call it? Tabulations?
Considers, you know,
Anything complex, David does. So we don't have to
What about
change
sub-
that.
What
We
about
could leave that
subdivisions?
alone.
What about subdivisions?
Yeah, that's all David.
David, and you do those during the year. You don't just wait till the end of the year to do those.
well, actually you do, Howard, because the law says that you can't make any changes during the year. Everything for FY 26 has to be recorded in and fiscal calendar 24.
Okay, fine. So, so what, if there's a subdivision like tomorrow and the information comes in, does any of it get recorded or you just wait till the end of the year?
It gets recorded, but we don't do the split until the end of the year.
You don't go into vision until the end of the year, in other words,
Right.
right? Okay, fine. And the same with, somebody puts an addition on there, somebody gets a building, anything with a building permit.
Well, now you're talking a different thing.
Okay,
We
fine.
can, we can,
I think it might be just easier to skip that edit. And at length you could talk about.
it's up to you.
I'm just thinking that you do so much.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
but, okay, so
I'm
we're just,
sorry.
but we're talking about what has to go into the job description. And
Yep.
I mean,
we want a reasonably accurate version of the job in the job description. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Have you got the 2019?
Hmm?
Have you got the 2019 job description?
Yes, right here. And I was gonna have her delete that, but I'm saying don't bother because you could, any town administrative assessor could be updating records. It's
I
not
would-
to say that they would.
No, I would leave that in.
Leave it in.
Yep.
So
Okay.
good. David says leave it
All
in. The next thing
Okay, fine.
is this. It says experience with Patriot assessing. I don't think they even use Patriot anymore. do
No,
they?
I don't, may want to have experience with the camera software.
Well, I was gonna put that here, but I didn't know if that's just too much.
The chances are you're not going to get anybody who's got experience with both of them.
Right.
So just a state with a camera system,
State, just put state.
with a computer assisted mass appraisal system. Preferably vision,
And where would you put it?
either one of those places you've got now.
Okay. Let me just say that I will send out mass appraisal system. I will write it in and scan it and send it to all 3 board members as David recommends after
Yeah.
the meeting. Does that sound better?
That sounds perfect.
Leslie, can you check and see?
Okay, and do we need to include cyclical inspect?
In the waiting room.
You are. Thank you, George. George is joining.
Okay, everybody hide.
Okay,
That wasn't painful.
Hi,
George.
George.
Hold on, I gotta hang up. Okay.
Have
Hi,
you been
George. Sorry about
captured?
that.
Are you captured?
Oh
You're
my
being held
God.
hostage.
He hung up on me though. All of a sudden.
I did hang up on you. Don't take it personal.
Do you want me to transfer hosting to you so I can focus on what I'm doing?
I don't think it matters, but sure.
Oh, I see, because no one else will
No,
be
at this
coming
point,
in.
nothing's gonna happen. And if you want to look at documents, you can just hit the share screen button at the bottom and I can share documents too, so no need to change host.
Okay. And I
Okay.
don't know how to do the share, yeah. Anyway,
All right, so I'm gonna skip it. If we need it, then I'll figure out how to do it. So
If
let's
we need it,
just-
I can bring up a document.
Perfect. Let's just say for the follow-up business from the meeting, from my perspective, and maybe other people have other things, that I will go over the edits that I thought might be important for the 2019 job description. Have David look them over before he leaves tonight, and I'll scan it in or take a picture of it and send it to everybody.
Yeah,
Does that work?
Yes.
totally.
That's fine. Okay. Just, do we want something about cyclical inspections in there, David?
It's in there.
It's in there. Okay. Okay, thanks.
So does anybody else have anything? I know sometimes George says he has some comment about meeting minutes.
No, they look good.
Oh, and the other thing I do also have, I found the January 2nd, 2025 email from Roy Bishop where he says, because Howard had been asking me, does Roy Bishop do this sort of thing? And he said, hope your Christmas was merry and bright and happy new year. I have attached our invoice for FY25. We would be happy to assist the assessors again in FY 2026. Let me know. Our fee will remain the same. So please call with any and all abatement questions. So at least he's planning to do, would be willing to do the solar and the utilities.
Yeah.
But nobody has called him to say, yes, we want that, unless
Well,
you
no,
did.
No, I didn't mean, but you were debating what you were going to do with the position.
Yeah,
So you mean, there was even a statement, I think it said, somebody said, if need be, we won't use Roy.
that's right. Yeah.
So you might want to get this sorted out before you contact them.
Sounds like a good plan to hold off.
Yeah, I I didn't quite get all of that. It sounds like, given that we don't have another option right now, we might want to talk to Roy about contracting for everything that we need done. That sound right to
You can
you?
do that.
Okay, we can do it now. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
I
mean
mean-
tonight. I don't mean tonight,
No,
but you
I
know.
mean, I don't know of any town that Roy does it in where he does everything. But you could certainly talk to him. He may be able to.
Did you understand
Okay.
what David said?
He said that he knows of no town where where Roy Bishop does everything, but that doesn't rule out, that doesn't mean he wouldn't do it for us, and we should just talk to him about it.
Yeah, no harm in asking.
Right,
I got that right?
right.
Okay. So my question is this, David, do you want one of us to do that, or do you want to do it yourself?
Oh, no,
Because you know the job better than anybody. I'm sorry.
Roy knows the job. He just doesn't do it in other towns. I mean, his wife's an assessor in
fine.
Long Meadow.
His
So
wife's
he
what?
he knows it inside out. So I think one of the board or Haley should contact him.
Okay, fine. Okay, we'll take care of that. Okay. My guess is it'll end up being me. Okay, that's just my guess. Unless Leslie, do you
I'll
want to do
second
it?
that.
Yeah, right.
Are you
Yeah,
okay doing it,
April
Howard?
definitely does not want to do it. I'm okay doing it. I sort of want to.
Haley indicated to me on Monday that it would be a great relief off our shoulders if somebody from this department would make that call.
If somebody besides her made that call, is what she
Yeah.
really
Yeah,
means.
she's
But
overwhelmed.
that's fine. I'll do it. Yes. The only reason why I'm slightly hesitant right now, because I feel like I'm not quite as on top of the job as I need to be to talk to somebody sensibly about getting it done.
Well, let me ask
Maybe
you,
David and I can have a conversation.
David, he knows what you do, doesn't he?
Yeah, Roy, if you call Roy and tell him you're interested in him taking over the job of a supervisory assessor, he certainly knows what that involves.
I don't have to, he'll fill in all my gaps. I don't have to be,
Well,
He knows all
I
about
don't-
exemptions, he knows all
they're
about.
not gonna be-
all the rest of it.
I think he knows what Leslie does, and he knows what the assessor's office does. So he knows the gap between what Leslie's doing and all the other stuff that needs to be done. So I have a feeling he's going to have a very strong understanding of what you're asking him.
He will for definite.
okay.
And it also sounds like it's a bit of
Okay.
a long shot, but certainly worth asking.
Well, and you never know. He might, it might be a long shot with him, but he might have some suggestions. He might have some contacts. He might be thinking of somebody none of us are thinking of. That's a long shot too, but you never know.
You never know.
I gotta
Especially if
say,
we ask him if he says no, if he has other suggestions. And Howard, if you would want to come here and call on the speakerphone, and if he asked you a question that you weren't sure of, maybe we'd have an answer between us.
Okay, yeah, we'll see.
You
We'll see
can think about that.
We'll see how.
And there's another thing here too that
It would have to be a time when David's in.
I'm thinking outside of the box. And one other thing, we might not be able to find an experienced person or a person who's even been trained, and they might need to be trained. And would it be good to have somebody who's an expert doing that training? What if he said, well, I can train somebody for you between now and through the recap for 2026? There, he might be able to do other stuff for us.
And it's possible he knows somebody
Okay.
who would fit that bill, who would
Somebody
be.
who wants to make the next step. Yes,
Okay.
there might be.
Okay. So, I think we can move on to the next item at this point. That sounds okay?
Yes.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is to approve or deny applications for personal exemptions. We have two applications. Leslie, do you want to talk about those, or should I do it? Or
Either way.
okay. I'll start in, and if I
Sorry.
make mistakes, then just correct me if I do anything wrong. One application is from somebody named Jared Watkins, who owns property on Baker Road.
Wait a
he
minute,
owns
hold on,
two
Howard.
parcels.
Howard, hold on.
What did I do?
We can't.
Yeah.
David said
Holding.
to hold for a second. We can say,
You can't say their names, but you can talk about the exemptions.
let's just, well, I think we we just can't get into the detail. But anyway, let's limit that. We have one application for 118 Baker Road. The buildings at that address are not habitable. The person does not live there, which is a requirement of the exemption. He has been invited to offer the board documents proving that he lives there, and I encouraged him to get anything at all. He has no voter, no nothing, and he is. So I think we either have to put it on hold and wait and see if documentation comes in, but it was due on April 1st.
Yeah, and how long are you gonna put no? Because you've got to put the MDM one in very soon.
Yes, oh, we have to by the end of the month.
Yeah, so beyond that,
It has to be denied, David's right. Because it has
Okay,
to go into
so just-
Gateway. So
Right,
he does
so
not
my
live there.
understanding-
He has no proof of living there, which is one of the
Shutesbury residency.
requirements, yeah.
Yeah.
So
So my
David
understanding
has
is that-
recommended, and that would be,
Is it my turn yet?
no, it is.
Is it
I'm
my
sorry.
turn yet? Okay, good. My understanding is that everything that's on the property card in Vision is public knowledge. Yes?
that's correct.
Okay, his name is on the property card.
His name is, but the form that he files for the exemption, which could or may not have information. The forms that he files for the exemption contains
Yeah.
personal invitation and information,
Right,
and none of that is public information.
right. But if it's on the property card, then it is.
Right.
Okay, fine. So I think his name is on the property card. I have that right?
Mm-hmm.
Names
Yes.
are on. Yes?
They are.
Okay,
Yes.
good. Okay, fine. There are no houses. There's no residences on that property. There's no place where he could live. There's a couple of outbuildings. There's a shed to begin with. He owns 2 parcels. It's one piece of land, but they've been subdivided. They were subdivided in 2008. There are 2 buildings. There's 2 buildings, a large shed and a small shed. And the large shed is something like $30,000. And the small shed is like $1,300. And the entire thing with the land comes to $130,000. So his taxes are on the order of $2,000. But he can't possibly be living there. And his mailing address is in Rhode Island. Again, public knowledge. So there's no way that we can approve this because there's no way that his domicile is
That's
at
correct.
118 Baker Road.
We have to deny.
Okay. We have to deny, yeah. Any questions about that?
No.
No.
Okay. I move that we deny Jared Watkins' application
second that.
for a personal exemption.
Second.
Okay. Just to be clear, by the way, he is, I'm going to take that is not on the property card. Forget about all that. The second application is from Leslie. Can't say his name, George somebody.
We haven't voted on this first one. I
I'm
second
sorry,
it.
you're right.
Oh, that's okay.
You're right.
That's okay. We can just do
Okay, I vote aye.
that. Aye.
And Stein, aye.
Okay, the motion passes. That application is denied. Leslie, the second application.
Second
George,
application is for 201 Leverett Road. It's a clause 22 application. All the documentation was reviewed by the administrative assessor Burgess, who recommends the board to approve it. It is available, all the documentation is available for assessor's eyes only in the assessor's office.
This is
Okay,
a veterans
and this is an
exemption?
application.
This is a veterans application, 22, clause 22 are veterans.
Yep.
It's new. It's a new application. We haven't seen
Yes.
it before, but yeah, I've seen it.
Okay.
Is that no? I've heard about it. It's legit. It's legit, and he definitely lives there.
Well, if David thinks so, then I'm fine with it.
Me too.
Okay. So I move that we accept, that we approve this application for a personal exemption.
And I'll second.
Okay, I vote aye.
I vote aye.
Stein, aye.
Okay, the motion passes. Next item on the agenda is to approve or deny the motor vehicle excise tax abatements. Those are on the accountant reports, right, Leslie? There was just one motor vehicle. Okay, and that's from March, and it's got like 12 or something like that.
That's correct, because they were processed in March, but essentially they go all the way back from applications that were started on February 12th when that was the last time we met.
Okay, and these have not been stamped yet?
I'm sorry?
These haven't been stamped yet? No signature stamps yet?
No,
We need
waiting
to
for,
approve them is what I'm, okay, waiting to approve. Okay. I move that we approve these motor vehicle abatements from March of 2025.
I'll second.
So this is the one that totals
Okay, I vote aye.
1624.77.
1624.77.
Okay, I
Yes.
just want to make sure I had the right one. Okay,
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah,
I vote aye.
okay, I vote aye.
And Stein, aye.
Okay, the motion passes. The next item on the agenda is to review, edit and approve the accountant reports. To review, edit and approve the accountant reports. There are 4 accountant reports. One is the motor vehicle abatements that we just approved. The second is the veterans exemption that we approved a minute ago. The other two, I believe, they don't have anything on them. I got that right. One is a CPA abatement. One is a
yes,
real estate abatement, and they're both blank, right?
Yeah.
They're both
Yeah.
zeroed out.
Yes.
Okay. I move that we approve the 4 accountant reports.
A second.
Okay. I vote aye.
Arvanitis, aye.
And Stein, aye.
Okay. The motion passes. The next item on the agenda is to review, edit, and approve the motor vehicle excise tax commitment. That's the second one for calendar year 2025. Does anybody have any comments, questions about it?
So what's the total dollar amount on that? 34,373.
that's
88?
correct.
Okay, that's,
Yes.
all right. Okay, I got that one.
Nope, no
Okay.
issues for me.
Okay. Somebody want to, I made a motion, right? Somebody want to
I'll
second?
second that. I'll second it.
Okay. I vote aye.
Arvanitis, aye.
Stein, aye.
So in all the things that we're
Okay, the
approving,
motion passes.
I have a question. There was one exemption request for a person for $400 on real property. Was
That-
that included in the 4?
That was
Yes,
that was the personal, that veterans exemption at 201
okay,
Leverett that
got
we
it, got
approved.
it. Oh, yeah, CI 20, I see it.
Okay.
Yep,
Okay.
because I was
Good.
looking at the document
The
just
next-
popped up.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is to review, approve, or deny the Chapter 61 applications. Liens and lien releases. Leslie, what do we got?
first of all, we have 2 applications from previous years that were just, nothing has changed. They were just late with their applications for Chapter 61B. Do you want more information, the names or addresses or anything? David has reviewed them.
I'm sorry, just how many? These are 2 renewals and they're 61Bs.
Of Chapter
I got that right?
61B, yes.
Okay, sure. And that's all there is, or is there more?
And then outside of the meeting, we got a urgent call from attorney Richard Evans, who was representing a buyer for property on Wendell Road, H46, had been in the Greenbaum family. Back in November of 22, the Board of Assessors approved a release of the lien. And it has not been in Chapter 61B since then. The buyer wanted to be sure, and at that, in November, the select board released their right of first refusal. The book and page that was used by the select board and the book and page in the release were different, and they were both right. It's just the way the deeds work back, because the Greenbaums, the Historical Resources Incorporated, the Hilda Greenbaum Trust were all changes in ownership, but really the same property. So the buyer, or the buyer's attorney, wanted a release with the same book and page that the select board had used when they relinquished their right of first refusal, which I don't think was necessary anyway, because it's only if the property changes use that you have to do this. But nevertheless, Howard was my hero, and I showed him the documentation that it was already released. The sale was scheduled for April 10th, which was Thursday. And because the board in November of 22 had already released the same property, but just with a different book and page number, Howard signed it. I notarized Howard's signature and delivered it to the attorney. So it was called a confirmatory release of the Chapter 61 lien. So there's no vote necessarily.
It's all signed, sealed, and delivered here.
Hmm.
Okay. So
Just
the
as,
only things that we need to vote,
yes. No, go ahead.
the only things that we need to vote on are the Chapter 61, are these two Chapter 61B applications, right?
Well, yeah, and it wouldn't hurt to vote to support the release of the same property second time.
Sure. Okay. I move that we approve the two new Chapter 61B applications and the re-release of the property that Leslie just told us about.
I'll second.
that. Should be.
Okay. I vote aye.
Overnight say.
And Stein, aye.
Okay, the motion passes. The next item on the agenda is to review, edit, and approve or deny the town meeting articles related to Chapter 178 of the Acts of 224, which is the HERO Act.
You're right.
Have people had, we got two,
This is the HERO Act.
Yes.
yeah, the HERO Act.
1, 2J and
I and J.
I and J. That's
Okay,
it.
Wait a minute, no.
so
I think you're right. Well, it doesn't
yeah,
matter. It's I and J.
yeah. Okay, yeah. And as everybody had it, Leslie sent out the memo from the state explaining what we had to do here, which involved those two sections. And David sent us a summary of what the effects would be on the town budget. Everybody had to have some familiarity with that at this point.
Yes.
And Leslie also sent us drafts of, okay.
Familiarity and questions.
Okay, so my understanding is that there are basically two articles that we would need to vote on. And one is the cost of living adjustment for all existing veterans exemptions, which I'm assuming is going to be a fairly minimal effect because the COLA is generally on the order of 2 to 3% these days. Okay.
I think that one's a no-brainer. I think we need to prove that one. Everything should be indexed for inflation.
Okay. And as far as the wording goes of that particular one, as everybody, I haven't looked at it much. I looked at it quickly once.
The warrant article that Leslie sent us seemed fine to me for that one.
It was recommended by the Department of Revenue.
Okay.
Yeah, it seemed fine with me. I had no issues with that.
Yeah, it looks fine.
Okay. Leslie, I'm sorry, did you say that this draft was provided by the DOR? Is that true?
Yes, if you followed all the
Okay.
links, you could get to it.
Yeah, they tend to help
Okay.
the towns with.
Okay, fine. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay. Okay, so I move that we approve the first exemption clause, first exemption amount for clause 22I. I move that we approve that.
I'll second. And third.
Okay, I vote aye.
Overnight say.
And Stein, aye.
Okay. Okay, so that motion passes, and then we have to look at the second one. And the second one has to do, it looks like David, let me ask, that COLA exemption that we just approved, or the addition to the COLA addition, is the state going to pay for that, or do we have to pay for that?
State's not going to pay for any of these. These are all local options.
They come out of
Okay,
the
so,
overlay.
okay, so we have to factor that in like we did for the MTRE.
That's right.
And the next one is also like that, but it looks like it's going to be more consequential.
Yeah, it's
It
gonna
looks
be
like
more
it's going
consequential.
to, I'm sorry.
Yes, it will be more consequential depending on what you decide to vote. Have you got that memo? I
Okay.
sent?
Yeah,
Yes.
because we have different
Okay.
levels that we can vote,
Yeah,
if, right?
Right,
If
but
I,
so who's going to, again, is the select board going to decide on the final percentage like with the MTRE?
what's gonna happen is, what has to happen is that you recommend to the select board if you want to, and it's up to them if they want to put it on the floor of town meeting, and then you can decide the percentage. But of course, you would recommend a percentage, but it could be changed on floor of town
Okay.
meeting up to 100%, as you know.
Okay. And we also should probably give a recommendation as to whether we want this at all on the town meeting.
Right.
Or if we just send it to, if we send it to them, then it's sort of implied that we're approving it, or
That's correct.
do
But
we
you-
have the
you-
option?
Go ahead.
Do we have the option of ignoring this?
You do.
Okay. I don't think we should. I don't think we should just
No.
decide by ourselves, but it's an option. Okay. Um,
Now, the most the Hero
So-
Act will cost you is $4,200.
I was interested to hear you say
and
that.
that would
in
be
your- You said that in your memo, but you added up when you showed you all the different things, the numbers added up to 14,000.
Right,
And
but they're not all, okay, don't get confused. I'm only talking about the Hero Acts, I'm only talking about the clause 22A. The first line is eight
yep,
clause 22s at $400 each for $3,200.
yep,
And then we have 122E at 1,000. That's the 4,200 for the Hero Act only.
and the 22D doesn't count.
22D does not, because that's a total exemption, and you can't double a total exemption.
Right. Got it. Now I get it. 'Cause that was what was confusing me. Okay, got it.
There's two clause 22Es as of
No, fine.
last year.
Okay.
You got the 24
Yeah.
gateway number, so it's going to change. And you also, is everybody clear that for the straight clauses, the state reimburses, like for 22, the state sends back 275?
Yeah, they give you a portion back from when you originally adopted them.
75% of that 4,200 in this
Yeah.
example would come back to us at a later date.
No, none of that
Okay.
additional 4,200 is coming back yet.
Okay,
You're already getting, there's 4,200 out there, they'll reimburse you on a portion of that. The additional 4,200 you vote, they will not touch. That's
got
yours.
it. So then we'd be cutting that percentage to 37.5 effectively.
Right.
okay. I'm sorry, but I'm not following all of this. Okay.
Yeah.
In terms,
So I think I got it. David,
So-
explain-
I'm looking at what David sent us.
Mhm.
What David sent us begins with, "Hi, Leslie, here is some information." And then we have the exemptions that are being currently paid out. Okay.
Right.
And so 3,200, and the idea is that I should ignore that 8,300 because that's
Right.
not going to be part of, okay. So I'm adding 32, 42,
And that's it.
4,400. Okay.
No, it stops at the
44, and
32.
then-
It's only the 22s.
All you're adding is
Got it. Sorry, my mistake. Got it. 32, 40, got it. Okay. So 4,200,
Oh, there it
that's
is.
where it stops. So the maximum is 4,200. And it's also, there's a limitation on that, in that if anybody's taxes were to drop before if that 4,200 lowered anybody's taxes below the FY25 level, then that would be cut out. You know what I mean
No.
by that?
No,
I didn't
not,
say it
not,
wrong.
not in the case of the HERO Act. Don't get the HERO Act confused with the Chapter 59 5C.5, which is also an
Okay.
option in here.
Okay,
So the HERO Act, if you vote a percentage, they're getting that percentage whether their taxes go up, down, or whatever. On that, on the
Okay.
veterans.
okay. There's something at the very bottom. You have this, the town votes
Right.
100%. You have an example, the town votes 100%. You're saying that that the HERO Act, that does not affect the HERO Act?
No, because if you vote the HERO Act alone, only the veterans are going to get it. If you
Okay.
want everybody to get it, you would vote the next one, the 5C.5, and then you would not vote the HERO Act because the veterans would benefit anyway, the same as everybody else.
Okay,
Can
Okay.
I ask a question?
there's another local option here? Like we
Yeah,
have to,
59 5C.5.
you're saying that there, okay, that also was passed this year? Or was
No,
that
this is an
old?
old one. This has been around forever.
Is that? But we never voted on it?
No.
Did we ever vote on that?
No, you have not. And
The
there's only
50.
2 communities that I know of that are doing it, and that's Amherst and Shutesbury.
Not true.
Pelham.
We discussed this one.
In the whole state?
No, in this area. I don't know where else in the States, no.
Okay, fine, okay. We
So-
discussed this when,
We
can we
discussed
forget about it
this.
for now?
We discussed this back in 21 when we went forward. I'm not sure which members of this board, when Kevin
Yeah.
was still here, we went forward with revamping all possible exemption options. The 41C 5.5, 59, 41C 5.5
Mhm.
was contentious because there was no limit on assets. And the board at that time felt that if people have unlimited assets, they shouldn't be getting a benefit on their taxes just because they have low enough income to qualify. Because if you've got unlimited assets, chances are you're not going to be out there working. And at the time, that board said, we're not going to touch that one at this time. But for veterans, it's a little bit different because for veterans, their qualification is based more on the service they provided the country
And the disability.
and their disability. So it's not
Okay.
exactly the same thing, and I'm not sure if the board is ready to take on 59 5C, 41C and
No, 5C.5.
5C.5 at this time.
Okay,
So
but it's a separate issue.
Yes, it is. It was put there so you could see it,
Okay.
that's all.
Okay, separate issue.
So my
Okay,
question.
so
my
just to
question-
be clear, if they vote, if the select board were to vote 100%, it really would be $4,200 that comes out of real estate revenue that we would have to cover.
The out of the overlay,
No.
yes.
out of the overlay, which is
out of the
adequate to cover
overlay.
that.
Right, okay.
Right. It's probably got 40,000.
And
So the MTRE does not come out of overlay. I got that right?
yes, that's correct.
The one
and
that we, the
that's-
means,
the means testing does not.
Oh,
that's-
no, that's not in there.
the means testing, we add additional 2 cents, I think it is, to the tax rate.
Correct.
Right, well, so we won't have to do that for this.
This is one vote on
Okay,
the
okay.
percentage, one time by the town meeting, and David's suggesting that the select board can put whatever percentage they want on the warrant article. And town meeting would go back and change the percentage
If
if
they
we
wanted to.
wanted to at a different time, but it's not annual
No.
vote of percentage by the select board. It's just if you were to decide to put this article forward, recommend this article to the select board, you probably would recommend a percentage that you would want it to be at.
Right.
And the select board would have the opportunity to keep it at that percentage or raise it or lower it.
Up to 100%, yeah.
And that would go to the town meeting. I, for one, want to know who will explain this to town meeting if you decide to recommend it to the select board, because I do not feel confident in explaining it to the town meeting.
When's it out? I'll talk to them.
You would
I don't care.
on April 31st? No,
May
May
31st.
31st, Saturday, May 31st.
Yeah, if you need me to.
Perfect.
If they think I I'll explain it. then that's
So-
no problem.
So the only reason we would need to be able to explain it at town meeting is if we move forward with it.
Mhm.
I've
Yes.
explained the one that we just approved. And I understand, I think, how this works. What I don't understand is what changed in the last year? Why did it change? More importantly, what changed was the state said, you can double it. You can increase it up to double. We'll only reimburse you 75% of the base, but you can increase it. So why did the state do that? And if we're going to make the decision, a policy decision, what's going to be the driver for us? Once I understand that, I'm happy explaining it.
Well,
And I don't think we know.
I'd imagine the state was lobbied by the veterans to do it. This is just a way of, I mean, veterans are very much in the news at the moment with everything that's been going
Yes.
on over the last few years.
Was
And,
there?
yeah.
And did the veterans say, this just isn't adequate? We need more, and we're going to do this out of the goodness of our heart. Of course, we all appreciate what veterans do and how difficult, things have been for them. And I'm supportive. I think the town probably would be supportive. I just want to understand, this is strictly, it's just what Dave described. There's no other variables involved.
And it won't
it's just-
impact the tax rate because it's all coming out of the overlay.
Right. Well, if our overlay grows, we would have to increase it at some point.
That's right.
And then that would mean we'd have to increase tax levy by that additional $10,000, let's say.
Yeah.
Which would be pretty darn small, spread across our tax base.
George, you're beginning to scare me.
What do you mean?
You don't have any problem with numbers? You're
Oh,
willing to
well.
give money away.
I've been on the
Wants to
finance
be our
committee
next-
for a while.
I think you could take the job. No.
I'll tell you what, 3 years ago, when I couldn't wait for retirement, I would have been able to retire 2 years early and maybe learned how to do the assessor's job. But at this point in my life, not interested. And it would take me time. I mean, I'll never be able to get to Dave's level, know how much I did, but certainly the mechanics and some of it I certainly do understand. But anyways, yeah, I mean, we know we're not going to get reimbursed for whatever decision we make here. I don't know if I want to go 100%, but I'd be okay with like maybe 50% for this year, and then we revisit it next year. And
Yeah, this will be for 26.
And also, David, just correct me. I thought you said this could be increased on town floor. If there was a movement by the voters, why don't we give them 100%? We can make that decision as a town.
Mhm.
I mean, town meeting, anytime somebody puts an article on the floor, it can be amended.
Well, I know with the budget, you can amend numbers up. So if we come with a budget of of 7.8 million, throwing out a number, and somebody wants to add $10,000 to a line, we can't do that.
Somewhere else.
We might, yes, exactly. So that's why I asked that question. But if we can increase this percentage, we we can let everybody in town know, and if people feel like 50% isn't enough, then we can make an amendment.
It's gonna roll through the select board, so they have the option of changing it as well.
And this
I mean,
is,
at this time, you're passing it forward to the select board to go to town meeting. So they're gonna get a crack at this.
Excuse me one second, I think I have to
My
move.
guess is that a town. You have to move.
he's not at home right now. It's okay.
George is muted according.
Yeah, it's
to
okay,
my-
I'm gonna
my
mute, I'll
thingy.
unmute when I.
Yeah, there you go.
When I need.
Okay,
It's okay.
okay, fine. It seems to me offhand, just town meeting is not good. I don't know how many articles on the warrant, but my guess is that town meeting is not going to especially want to ponder the percentage of they're going to be, this is going to be brand new to them on Saturday, on town meeting. They're not going to especially want to ponder the intricacies of 50 versus 75 versus 100%. What they're going to want, I could be wrong. What they're going to want is a number that they can just sort of go up or down on. Anybody want
George-
to weigh in on that?
Yeah,
And
wouldn't
George
it
is
be,
right, sorry,
yeah, wouldn't it be, I'm blanking, this has been a long day. That's not the select board's decision to make the 100% versus 70, wouldn't that be their decision?
town meeting?
No,
Well,
the
they-
select board.
The select board puts articles on the
My understanding,
warrants.
And they can
would have the
recommend,
ultimate.
we could recommend, right,
my understanding is that the actual formally, the town meeting has to decide on the percentage.
Right.
Because they're voting on the thing, they're voting on the entire thing. So, they're approving the percentage.
Howard,
My
I
Well,
wanna-
guess
we
is
have to
that we're
have-
better, it'll go more smoothly. The process will be better if the select board makes a recommendation and then the warrant article has a number on it, as
Mhm.
opposed to the warrant article having a blank space on it. That's my guess.
yeah, I think that makes sense.
I don't think we want to like give town meeting a warrant article with a blank space and say, go figure out the percentage.
We don't, but I will tell you this, I would not be surprised if we said 50% and somebody at town meeting said, these are veterans, we need to give them more, and then there's a movement in town. So I wouldn't say that people in town aren't
It could
gonna be
happen.
interested. When you talk about veterans, people get passionate.
You're talking about
Fine, they can
$4,200 here,
get, fine, let them get passionate.
Yeah,
so why not just give them the 100%?
Yep,
so you think if we went 100%, it really wouldn't be a problem for the overlay?
I
Well, the overlay's got like 30,000 in it or something
It's
like that. so that we
40,000.
can pay for-
40,000, I think.
Yeah, that's what we're putting in the budget. In our revenue estimate.
40,000.
That's what you use,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
And this will not
In addition to what's there now? In addition to what's there now?
No, it's 40,000. So that $14,000 of items that are in David's memo,
Yeah, I have,
those come out of the overlay. So if it's 14,000 right now that we know of, then we still have 26 left. So if we go 100%, that brings us to 22. We still have $22,000 in overlay. Which is, according to what I'm reading from David
Right,
and
but the
Leslie,
40
is more than
It'd be
adequate.
enough.
Oh, no. It's
now I can't say that somebody
Okay.
couldn't walk
So
in
the-
with a major abatement.
Yeah,
so the
One with
40,000,
on hand,
that you-
a piece of paper and make a sticker picture with.
so the $40,000 of overlay that you're talking about, is that what's in the budget for this year?
that's what we use every year. We've been using it for many years. And it's been adequate every
Okay,
year. The actual comes in and it's always lower.
Yep,
Pick the
It
color
goes to
and
free
you-
cash.
Right, because as I understand it, there's like 35,000. There was $35,000 left over in the overlay from previous years. Like even if there was nothing in this year's budget for overlay, Anybody know, what
I don't
is
know that
that?
number.
I think,
It's my grandson.
can we have him join the meeting?
That's your grandson?
He
He's
already-
trying, believe me.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Okay,
I make a motion that
Um,
I make a motion that we approve 22, what was it, Jay?
Yep,
At the rate of 100%.
And I will second that.
okay.
Could,
I vote aye.
could I just say that what you're doing
Please.
is making a recommendation to the select board?
Yes,
That's what you're doing?
Yes,
Yes. Using the language that you have attached in your email for that particular item. And again, that was the state's recommended language that you used.
Correct.
I vote aye.
Rick,
okay.
and Stein,
I
I.
vote
And
aye.
what's your grandson
right,
vote?
leave it for anything else, which I'd like to get over December.
Charlie, yes or no?
Yes.
He's not answering. My wife's
Okay.
got him tied up right now.
Okay, fine.
That's what
Laugh
it
about
takes,
that.
by the way.
Well, was there anything else on the agenda I need to be
no,
in?
I don't think so.
Guys, I'm gonna leave you.
Okay, David, thank you.
Okay. Okay,
And,
thank you, David.
I will not be available next week, but I will be available the week after. I have
Um,
company from Ireland.
Oh, nice. Very good.
Okay,
Wonderful. Enjoy.
Yes.
Well, it's unfortunately they're only here for a week, but that's the way it is.
Yep.
okay,
Okay. Good.
All right, guys.
Take
Have a
care.
good night. Thank
Have a
you.
good night.
okay, thank you, David. So the next item on the motion passes.
Yes.
So the next item on the agenda is topics not reasonably anticipated 48 hours in advance of the meeting. Any such thing? Leslie, we got anything we need to do?
I was
Okay.
wanting to recommend to you folks that the new department, it's a new administrative town administrator, Haley Bolton, has called she's calling it a department head meeting on Tuesday, May 6th, at 9:30 a.m. I know from Gabriel and even Becky before that even though they say department head, everybody would be welcome to come. And the second thing is that tomorrow there will be a free Zoom presentation on the role of assessors from 10 to noon. I registered and I will be listening to it while I work in here, if anybody's interested, but I think it required pre-registration. So if you're elsewhere, I don't think you can do it. I think it came through the DOR announcements, which you all would have gotten. That's all I have for 48 hours
Okay.
notices.
Okay, thank you. So we need to schedule in our next meeting. Leslie, how far out do you want to go?
Doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
You're not anticipating anything anytime
I'm
soon?
sorry.
Of course, by June
Um,
30th, we'd need a meeting, but in answer to George's question, but I don't see anything crossing between now
And
and
nothing
then.
nothing between now and town meeting?
Unless there's something that comes up with the hiring.
These are beautiful tropical fish. I love the different colors.
Okay.
April, would there be an appropriate
Um,
time for that?
Yeah.
Do you want to do it in 4 weeks or 4 or 6 weeks? What do you think?
Just to keep ourselves covered. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, so that would be May 7th.
14th, 14th or the
14th.
28th or the 21st, actually.
Maybe the 14th, because that gives us a few weeks before town meeting, especially if we
Yeah.
have to make a last minute adjustment to a warrant article or something.
I like that.
That's fine. 14th is fine.
Yeah, it works for my schedule.
6:30.
Okay, and if we come up with anything more urgent, such as somebody wants the job,
Yeah,
Yes.
we'll schedule earlier. I would do that for that.
I sure would too.
Yeah. Okay,
All right.
okay.
Nice.
So the next meeting is the 14th at 6:30, and I move that we adjourned.
Second,
I'll second. And third.
third,
I vote aye.
everyone say.
Stein, aye.
Okay, okay, the meeting is hereby adjourned. Thank you all
Take care,
very
everybody.
much.
Leslie, thank you for pulling it off.
Yeah.
Thanks, George.
awesome.
I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
great,
As you
yeah.
can see
I'm
when
gonna,
you,
s- I'm gonna scan that
Yes.
document and keep it on my PC.
Okay,
yeah, there's,
It's good that we
when
have backup,
actually, when you actually apply things, it's more complicated than the 101 book suggests.
for sure.
And the
Okay.
big problem is
Good night,
we
everybody.
learned,
Good night.
the big problem that we learned tonight was that technology is often the big monster for us all.
Yeah.
My
Okay.
concern with this is we do it every 3 months. So you gotta remember, because this is the only time I host the meeting, and it's like, it just wasn't sunk
Yeah.
without that piece of paper.
Mhm.
But I
And
appreciate,
it's,
now I have the new
do you
password.
have, okay,
well, that,
do you have
I
the piece
think
of
you were
paper?
at a
Oh, yeah, why did,
disadvantage.
why did we
The
not
piece
have
of paper is-
passwords tonight?
The password I have is written down on a document that I got from Grace in my file cabinet,
Oh,
There were-
good.
right where it belongs, nice and safe. But I should
There
have
was
scanned it
no,
and put it on my PC.
There was no, P-
To
there was
George's
no meeting,
credit,
there
I
was no
think it was,
password for the meeting tonight.
There's not for you, but to start it as a host, you need the password.
and to
So I
George's,
needed the
Right,
password to start it.
That was different. That was the first time that,
You're breaking up.
but it's different. There was no password. For the first time, I did not need a password to join the meeting. I was just wondering
Oh.
how that got changed, that's all.
Typically, Howard, when we go to meetings, the host
No one
starts it. We
knows.
don't
Okay.
have to know the passwords.
Okay.
Yeah, typically the host just lets us in. So typically, maybe there was in the beginning, things were different because we made a
I've always-
big change in January. January, everything changed.
Okay.
So in the past, you may have need to do that,
Okay.
but starting now, you don't.
Okay.
Only the host needs to. And the
Okay.
host failed us today.
Okay, okay,
I could say
Okay,
that
fine.
Grace confirmed from that same question with George's answer, and to George's credit, even if he didn't leave the password in the closet, Grace had sent us a new password anyway, and I'm not sure that how.
I
that
would have,
George
I would have
got
been
it.
stuck anyways. Okay, well, that's a little consolation. I'll take that. Thank you, Leslie. Anyways,
I
nice job. I'm
Okay,
glad,
so
I'm
we should
glad
be
we have
okay
two
the
people that
next
can
time.
do it now.
Yes.
okay,
All right. I gotta get home.
All right. Yeah, take care. Drive safe.
okay,
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good
Leslie,
night.
take care.
okay, good night, everybody. Bye.